Companies are ready to steal your face to sell their products, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Or is there? Hello Internet, welcome to Style Theory, the channel that's always ready to call out some shady business. Chat, if you're new here, let me give you the TLDR. We have a history on the channel of taking a magnifying glass to companies trying to pull one over on creators. And this time we're turning our sights on Temu. On July 5th, 2024, Mia Maples, a lifestyle creator here on YouTube, posted a video explaining that Temu had stolen her face.
3 years ago, I posted this, trying 5 heatless hair curling and waving methods. First time I became aware of it being stolen was 2 years ago. I didn't even know Temu existed back then.
Well, clearly they were aware of you, Mia. However, while Temu may be the target of Mia's call-out, it's not the only site that's been taking what wasn't theirs.
And also, I cross-Google image searched this image, and it is all over the place. Here it is on so many different sites.
Mia is far from the first content creator, big or small, to have their work stolen by brands looking for free advertisement.
Brands that are stealing my videos and using them in their advertising has hit an all-time high this year. Have you ever seen one of these ads on Instagram, social media, or Facebook? These ads are all ads that have used my face without my permission.
We are here today in Simply Court to prosecute the illegal use of pictures and videos of simply illogical snails for the purposes of profit.
This has been a problem since influencer culture has become part of the culture. So in a battle of Mia versus Temu, who wins? It's a battle of big money, legal loopholes, and unexpected monsters. And I'm gonna break it all down to see if there is any hope for justice, or if we should all resign ourselves to being Temu fodder forever. All rise, court is now in session. To get to the bottom of this case, we need to first understand our two key figures. On one side, you have Mia Maples, representing our plaintiff, the creators. Mia is an old hat on the platform, having been making videos for over 11 years and amassing over 4.4 million subscribers here on YouTube. She's made a name for herself with her honest reviews, one that Temu has even tried to hire to promote its website. Why? Because she's a voice and a face that people trust. And that trust has value. Influencer marketing, the baby sister of celebrity endorsement, hinges on consumers trusting the face that's selling them the product.
The thing that frustrates me the most is because when people see my face, if they're someone who trusts me, who trusts the integrity of me reviewing a product, when a brand takes my face and puts it on something they're selling, people might spend their hard-earned cash on something that they think that I have endorsed when I have not.
The phrase parasocial relationship has become so overused that it's almost lost its meaning, but the effect does still ring true. A parasocial relationship is a one-way connection between one person, like a member of a creator's audience, and the figure that they admire and invest their personal time into, aka the creator. It sounds pretty clinical when you say it like that, but in reality, it's something very valuable, and to most creators, precious. That relationship with their audience is what allows them to not only have their job, but market themselves to brands, thus sustaining their ability to create. When a business skips over the creator by stealing their content and their likeness to use in their marketing, they are not just hurting the creator, but their audience as well. In this case, Temu has caused damage to Mia and her audience by seeding in a level of distrust by using her face to sell a product that she is not consenting to endorse. Consent is very, very important.
Consent, please.
Now for our defendant, Temu. While Temu may seem like the new kid on the block, having launched here in the US in 2022, you are in for an unexpected surprise. You see, though Temu itself may be new, its roots go back a long, long time. The Temu brand was created specifically to market to Western consumers, with its headquarters even being based out of Boston, Massachusetts. When it launched, it had one singular goal: make big money. No, really, Temu reportedly announced that its main goal was to make $10 billion in its first year. And boy, did they. In 2023, Temu was estimated to have made around $18 billion. And that's after spending millions on Super Bowl ads, giveaways, and extreme discounts. By the end of 2023, Temu had expanded its market across the globe, including countries like the UK, Australia, Spain, and even Canada, where our plaintiff Mia is from. They'd become the world's most downloaded app, even surpassing giants like Amazon. So how did a baby brand get so powerful and so profitable so quickly? They had a wealthy parent company. Yes, we are calling Temu what what it is, a nepo baby. Temu is actually the small arm of a much larger corporation called Pinduoduo, also known as PDD Holdings. While you may not have heard of them before, they are a huge player in the e-commerce space, especially in China, where they're based. Back in the mid to late 2010s, PDD got its start in selling agricultural equipment, but quickly grew to include a variety of other products. As they grew, so did their reputation. And not in the best way. They were known for their affordable, though not exactly legal, knockoff items. Sound familiar? It seems like the Temu apple doesn't fall far from the knockoff tree. But taking down a titan like Temu, one that has billions of dollars at its disposal and a powerful parent company backing it up, can seem impossible to a creator that's just looking to protect their work and their likeness. But while Temu and companies like it may have the money, creators have the law on their side, right? And if you want to stop dealing with unexpected surprises, you'll love our sponsor for today's episode, Rocket Money. While others may try to hide the truth, Rocket Money is here to make all of your financials crystal clear. Whether you're aiming to get out of debt or save up for a big purchase, their app makes it as easy as 1, 2, 3. Lately, I've been dreaming about saving for a house, which, let me tell you, is no small feat these days. I used to think it was something I'd just never be able to do, but thanks to Rocket Money, I can see exactly where all of my money is going. I didn't realize how many services and subscriptions I was still paying for long after I meant to cancel them. As a theorist, it's my job to stay up on all the current shows, which means rotating out all of my streaming platforms regularly so I don't miss anything, which is not exactly easy to keep track of. But the Rocket Money app laid them all out, letting me cancel all the ones I wasn't using anymore with just a few taps. I didn't even have to leave the app. Not only that, but Rocket Money helped me lower my bills by negotiating my rates for me. I honestly never would have thought to do that on my own. Rocket Money has helped their customers save up to $740 a year with all of their carefully curated features. And bonus, you can join me and the over 5 million other savvy savers by going to rocketmoney.com/styletheorists to get started for free. Yes, free. That's rocketmoney.com/styletheorists, or click the link at the top of the description. When it comes to our plaintiff Mia's situation, there are two kinds of copyright being infringed upon: the ownership of your content and the ownership of your likeness. Whenever you upload a video to YouTube, you retain the ownership copyright of that content as your intellectual property, or IP. IP is pretty much anything you can create from your own ideas. This can be a story, an invention, or a YouTube video. That's putting it into super simple terms, but you get the idea. Whenever you create something, you automatically gain the copyright of that original piece of IP. You don't need to do anything else. So that video that Mia made testing those heatless hair products by both YouTube and governmental standards is owned by her or her company. If you want to take that legal protection a step further, you can do what we recommended to Cassey Ho in our SHEIN episode and register that IP with the government via a patent or a trademark. Fun fact, Cassey did go and patent her design like we suggested in that video. I'm not saying we were the inspiration or anything like that, but we're always happy to help here on Style Theory. However, when it comes to your everyday YouTube video, going to that length may be a little bit overboard and not exactly easy or cheap to do. So what about your face? You obviously own that, right? Well, yes, but also no. Under US law, you don't actually have an automatic right to your name or likeness just by virtue of them being yours. Though the nitty-gritty of that can differ wildly from state to state or even city to city. If you've watched either of our episodes over on Film Theory about movies and TV recreating celebrities, you'll know that it can get very complicated. However, for our case today, it's a little bit more straightforward because Temu didn't just steal Mia's likeness, they stole it for an ad. Like we mentioned earlier, Mia's big frustration about all of this is how it can confuse and trick her audience.
When a brand takes my face and puts it on something they're selling that I haven't actually reviewed, because then you could see this ad on Temu and be like, oh my gosh, these must be the ones that Mia tried. And then you get them in the mail and they're not working the same. And then you're like, what the heck? Why would Mia endorse something that doesn't even work?
This is called right to publicity, which is a fancy way of saying that it protects your likeness or implied likeness from being used for commercial purposes without your consent. This is the reason why you see productions that shoot in public spaces blur the faces of the people walking by in the background. They did not consent to their likeness being used for that media. There's that word again, consent. And chat, violating someone's right to publicity can be pricey. In 2009, a supermarket chain ran an ad for its signature steaks using a basketball, a team jersey number, and a silhouette that all but implied that the brand was being endorsed by Michael Jordan himself. That little ad got them sued by Jordan and his team, costing them $8.9 million. Talk about an expensive oopsie. Now, that may be an extreme case, but the same precedent applies to Mia and other creators. Armed with that, they must have a case to fight back. Except, maybe not. Temu claims that since they are a marketplace, not a direct seller, they're not responsible for the images posted by individual sellers using their website. It's a variation of the safe harbor policy that YouTube itself operates under. We went more in depth on this in our video about TikTok Shop, but the TLDR is that while they're not responsible for the content on their site, they are responsible for maintaining their site's integrity when instances like this occur and are reported. But that's the big giant Temu, the titan with all the money and power at its disposal to brush things under the rug. How do all these smaller businesses on TikTok, IG, and Facebook get away with it? It all comes down to the follow-through by the people meant to enforce these laws. Even though the FTC has come out and said that creators are becoming increasingly big targets for image theft, they are still leaving them out to dry. According to a survey conducted by Canadian data research team Massive earlier this year, while 85% of consumers rely on user-generated content, aka reviews, to decide what to purchase, a whopping 70% of influencers behind that content reported experiencing disappointment in finding that their work was used without permission or compensation. Let me break that down for you. 47% of the creators surveyed had their work used without permission or pay, and another 40% didn't even receive credit. Meanwhile, half of all the marketers surveyed said that there was little to no risk in them actively stealing content to use in their ads. Heck, 20% even admitted to never giving credit at all. But chat, that may not even be the worst of it. We are entering into a new and scary world of content theft, one that not even longtime veterans of the issue could have predicted.
I just saw something that makes me feel like I'm in an episode of Black Mirror. I'm going to show you the original of the video that I posted to my socials.
This is what I found in the listing.
That was my body in a different face. That is so weird.
Yes, Cassie, I agree. That is freaky with a capital F. With the growing abilities of AI software, this kind of Twilight Zone moment is not going to be a rare occurrence. In fact, it is rapidly becoming commonplace. But it raises a bigger, more worrying question. What do you do if they take away your likeness from your content? In her video, Cassie shares that it was not just her that had her likeness stolen and altered. Her models and even some of her customers had photos stolen and altered for the purpose of selling recreations of her products. As Cassie put it in a later interview, they reverse deepfaked me. The thought of being deepfaked is pure nightmare fuel. It's the loss of your autonomy as a human being. The idea that now you don't just have to worry about people using that technology to make you say or do things against your will, but now they can completely erase your identity from your own content? I don't want to live on this planet anymore. This is truly the darkest timeline. Now, that is a lot of work to put into an ad for a knockoff product, so what makes it worth all that effort? Easy, low overhead, and high reward. According to a site that makes deepfakes, which, for the record, Theorists does not encourage you to go and do, a passable video can cost just $4 for an hour of processing time, making it very accessible. Thanks, I hate it. This low cost of entry means that brands can spend less than the price they would pay to the creator for their content to make an AI-altered version. information. This in turn can lead to higher profits for the brand. And that's not all. As Cassey points out in that same interview, I believe these listing people do that so that copyright infringement is harder to detect by an AI robot. To a robot eye, if the face is different, then it's different. It's not that hard to believe either. Most automated copyright systems use some kind of algorithm or AI to scan websites for copyright infringing content and flag them to be taken down. Yet, while they are extremely sophisticated, they can also be easily tricked by a few little alterations, such as flipping the footage or using other images to obscure the original content. Not all of this is done with malintent, mind you. Commentary and review channels will sometimes do this so they can include clips of the media they are referencing without worrying about triggering a false copyright strike. While laws are being worked on to protect people from deepfakes using their likeness, the same can't be said for a reverse deepfake. From all directions, it appears like creators are doomed to let companies bulldoze all over them. These shady businesses have the money, the loopholes, and the tools to stay one step ahead of creators like Cassey and Mia, for now. While big businesses and AI may be getting smarter, so are creators. In the original video, Mia talks specifically about trying to take down her stolen content without putting the full force of her Mia Maples brand behind it. But that may be exactly what she and other big-name creators need to do. Not just to help herself, but to help the next generation of creators as well. While we've all gotten used to YouTube and other platforms being commonplace, it is still a very new industry, one without the same power and standing as more traditional forms of media. We are still defining what this business looks like and how laws and regulations need to adapt to protect it and its creators. Because that is the key thing to remember here. Being a creator is a business. I'm not trying to be a buzzkill. I love creating. It's all I've ever wanted to do. But it all comes back to what Mia said about the power of being a business.
I reached out over my Mia Maples business email. I do think I could get this removed, but I wanted to try and do it from like an anonymous email, and that's where I had no success.
I get it. Wanting to see how a smaller creator could go about dealing with this issue is admirable, but I think there is an even better way Mia and other creators whose names have that same level of power can help those following in their footsteps, and many of them are already doing it. With her video, Mia is drawing attention to the issue and making it a cause for her platform, just like Cassey Ho has been doing on her social media against counterfeit culture, and how HopeScope, Simply, and Cassandra have done against the businesses that stole their videos. They are highlighting the flaws in a broken system and learning what rights they have as creators, whether they are self-employed or a small business owner. And more important still, they are sharing what they learn with their audiences. To creators who are just starting out and doing everything they can to make a name for themselves, trying to fight back against these companies can feel like you're an ant trying to take down a horse. I know it's a weird metaphor, but stay with me. Alone, a singular ant stands no chance against a large creature like a horse. But when it joins up with the other ants in its colony or the other creators in their community, their power is multiplied 1,000,000 times over. By herself, Mia is probably able to take on most companies that would try to steal her likeness. But if she teamed up with her fellow creators to really light the fires under some of the butts of not just these companies, but the people in charge of amending the laws meant to protect them and their IP, we are likely to see some endgame level results. I'm not saying this will be easy, but we've already seen it start to work in other industries, specifically the music industry. When Taylor Swift announced she'd be releasing the re-recordings of her first 6 albums, people thought she was crazy until it worked. Taylor, like many artists before her, had a contract with her record label where she created the music, but her record label owned her masters. In the world of YouTube, this would be like YouTube saying they owned your videos because they gave you a platform for distribution. It would, to put it bluntly, really suck. However, it's extremely common in the music industry. After leaving her label, Taylor was unable to buy back her masters, but she did have the right right to re-record them and own those masters. It was a really big screw you, not just to the label, but to the industry's long unchallenged structure. While not the first to do this, it caused some big noise and showed her fellow music artists that they too could change the system that was taking advantage of them. They're able to do this not just because of their own power, but the power of the very people that businesses like Temu are hoping to take advantage of, their audience. The battle against Temu and all the other bad actor businesses hoping to make money by stealing the faces of your favorite creators is one that has to be fought on two fronts. While the creators take up their legal swords, their audiences are able to take a stand with their money. Where you spend your money matters, not just to the high-level creators with legal teams of their own, but to small up-and-coming ones who feel they don't have the means or the support to fight back. If you see a brand using stolen images, don't buy them. Then tell your friend not to buy them, and have that friend tell their friends. The only way that we all win this fight is if we're all in this together. But hey, that's just a theory. A style theory. Keep looking sharp. And if you want to catch up into our previous dive into shady business practices, check out our first video on SHEIN.